We are firmly in the new year, and so it's time to get serious about managing our money.
And our next guest says now is the perfect time to refocus and get our goals and prioritize our financial well-being. Money expert and keynote speaker Robyn Thompson is back with her top tips. As always, Robyn, we love having you here.
Good to see you. All right, so Robyn, let's get right into it. All right, so this year you want us to grow our money, and one of the best ways to do that is get a financial advisor. But you say a lot of people have misconceptions about financial advisors. So what do we really need to know?
So there's two things that you really need to do. Number one is that people have an assumption that you need to have a lot of money, like Elon money, to have a financial advisor. And that is not the case. You just need to start. So either a little bit or a lot, there's a financial advisor somewhere along that spectrum. Number two is that people assume that a financial advisor only deals with investments, so buying and selling of stocks. And that is not the case. Financial advisors and planners are there to help you with taxes and retirement planning, investment planning, debt planning, so it's not just about the investments.
Oh, this is very good to know. So I'm intrigued. So what are the first steps?
Yeah, so the first thing you want to do is you actually want to ask yourself, what is the answer that I need for my money? So what is the question that you need to have answered? Is it that you want to buy a house and you have to save up for a house? Is it that you want to retire and how much do you need in your retirement account in order to do that? So when you figure out the question that you need an answer to, then you can start to look around and have an idea of the type of advisor that you need to employ.
Okay, wow. So this is actually a very embarrassing question. I don't know where to find a financial advisor. Like, are they, where does one find one?
Well, they might be under there, but more often than not, I mean, generally people find their financial advisor at a bank or financial institution or credit union. You can look at FP Canada or the Financial Planning Association of Canada. You'll see a whole list here up on the board. FP Canada is a great tool to put in your postal code, the city you live in, and they'll populate a whole bunch of different people in your area. So you want to make sure you're going to places that give you people that are credentialed and licensed to give you the information that you're receiving, because this is your money. So you want to make sure that you're going to those types of individuals, and you can find those on the board.
Okay, so I'm assuming that those all come with qualifications, but let's just say you went rogue and you found an independent financial advisor. Is there a way to run a financial background check?
Rogue. I'm like, I feel rogue now. Yeah, so I think that whenever you're looking at a financial advisor, they're going to hold certain designations and licenses. So if you're looking for a certified financial planner, you can take a look at the CFP. These are people that are licensed to give certified financial planning advice. On their website, you'll be able to vet them, put their name, and it'll tell you whether they have any like sort of reports against them or how they are like if they have their continuing education up to date. The CLU, which is someone who specializes more in sort of estate and wealth transfer. Again, they'll also be licensed, they'll also be registered. So you want to make sure that people that are giving you this important advice are licensed and credentialed to be able to give you that advice. It's very important because, you know, you don't want to speak to the brother-in-law or the sister or the person over there that made a lot of money last week that may lose everything next week. So credentialed, licensed people.
Very quickly, do they have like Google reviews and stuff like that? Like,
if they're really bad, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, typically they do.
So let's say, Robyn, we have found somebody. So let's say you call, you want to meet them. Is it appropriate to like almost interview them or vet them ahead of time, or is that a faux pas?
It is 100% required to vet your financial advisor ahead of time. These are the people that are going to be giving you and your family some of the most important advice of your life, how to manage your money. So you want to ask them 4 questions when you sit down with them. And this is going to give you the understanding of, is this the right fit for me? Number 1, who is your ideal client? Then you have an understanding of, you know, do I fit into this? And then number 2 is, how do you actually help your clients? What do you do for me that's going to help me with my finances? Obvious question, who do you not work with? Like you want to make sure that you're not trying to fit into someone else's bucket. Sometimes you'll find if you have family money, and there's someone that's spun off, they'll take the children or the grandchildren, but they don't really fit in that tier, and then you don't get the service you need. And then finally, how do you get paid? Which is probably one of the most important questions. We hand out money all the time to people. We always ask, what is the cost of the service that you're providing to me to make sure that I can evaluate whether it has value?
Okay, can we go there then? How do financial advisors get paid?
Yeah, it's a lot of ways financial advisors get paid, and I think this is probably one of the most important things to talk about, because there's no free lunch, so you're going to pay for a service. One of the ways that you get paid fee for service. So you could say, I'd like to have a financial plan. They will quote you a planning cost. You write them a check, send them a transfer, easy peasy. Next one would be an assets under management. So say perhaps you have a certain amount of assets, they'll charge you a percentage annually. Typically, that's around 1%. So 1% of assets under management. There's another one that's called the management expense ratio. A management expense ratio is embedded inside of a product. So a mutual fund or an exchange traded fund, that's the cost of the product and your advisor gets paid from that. But here's something to know, is that Canada has some of the highest mutual fund fees globally.
Oh.
So we pay a lot of money for mutual funds.
Why?
So you want to make sure, it has to do with concentration. There's a bunch of different reasons, but generally it's concentration just because of where we are. But what you want to look at that conversation and say, you know, does it make sense for me to buy a mutual fund? There's an exchange traded fund, which has fees about 0.05%. Mutual funds are anywhere from 1.5 up to 2.5%. So I don't want to say that to dissuade you from working with an advisor. Because when you work with an advisor, studies show that you actually accumulate between 2 to 4 times more assets than not working with an advisor.
For real?
For real.
Okay.
So you want to keep the value in check. Is there a value for the fee you're paying? If the answer is yes, then continue working with the advisor. But know how much you're paying, understand what the fees are, and remember that your return has to be after fees, after tax,
That's right.
after inflation. So you need to be vetting these advisors, talking to them about what's your return, what's your performance, what can I expect? Because it's your money. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Lots of information so far. All right, so we live in a digital age, as we all know, and there are lots of online options for money management, like investment apps and even robo-investors. What should people know before they use those tools?
So robo-advisors will hear a lot about technology. So first you have to understand, do you want to be unattached from your money? From an emotional perspective, because a robo-advisor is going to trade based on algorithms, right? If you want to have a say and someone to say to you, Cynthia, I know your family. I know what you need. I know what your risk tolerance is, and I'm going to help you, versus an automatic, this was your risk tolerance, this is where we pegged you into the program, this is how we're gonna trade for you. So do you want to have advice that's personalized to you, or do you want to have automated? If you have larger amounts of assets and the more money the problem, the more money you got, the more problems you got, the more you need more advice. If you're just starting out and you want to kind of dabble in it, then you can look for exchange traded funds within sort of the robo-advisor atmosphere, but just be careful. You need to have some basic financial literacy in order to do that.
Oh, Robyn, we always learn so much when you're here. Thank you so much.
You're
welcome.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.